And welcome back to North of the Broad. The name of the novel is Tidewater Tempest, and it is the third in a series of Tidewater books. The author is with us now. Her name is MZThwaite. Martha, good to see you.
Good to see you.
Thank you for being with us on North of the Broad. So let's talk about the series and what inspired you to the series and why this is the third book in the series, and then we'll get specifically into this, this plot.
Okay. Well, I started the series because I wanted to start writing novels, and there is a place in Georgia where my family has gone for years and years and years, and it's an old hunting club.
Yes.
And so the first story was about preserving the hunting club because, you know, all of these open lands are threatened these days by development. Right. So the first story started there, and the second story was inspired by another piece of property that I owned down in Georgia, further south, and there was a shooting down there, and that involved the developer. And I said, okay, story number two. And then the third one, we went through a series of hurricanes here, and I said, I guess I'm supposed to write about a hurricane.
And so show the cover of the book, and Martha shared with me that her husband actually designed the other two covers, but this one was done by the publisher.
Yes.
So, speaking of publishers, you were self-published with the other two, but this one you actually used a publisher, and how did that, what was that experience like?
It was great because when we first started, Steve McConaughey said to me, what do you want out of this? And I said, I want somebody to beat me up and tell me what's wrong, tell me what's right, and just because I had done everything else on my own. And so I really wanted a little guidance to try to make the story better. And I got that.
So let's talk about the plot of this book and what inspiration you received to write about perhaps the serious illness of a friend.
Yes, as I got into the storm aspect, I kept thinking about this friend who had a very serious illness, and I thought, well, you know, that's sort of a good parallel to this storm topic. And so I wove her in as a character and really had fun sort of channeling her personality and making her into this character.
So how do you envision your characters? How do they come alive? Is it kind of all plotted out and planned out before? Do you write an outline and then, or do the characters kind of tell the story and it just kind of unfurls for you?
Yeah, the main character is a real estate agent, as I was. I sold real estate for 30 years. So she, Abby, is somebody who is, you know, she's probably the hardest character to write because everybody says, you're Abby, or Abby is you. And so she's difficult to write because I know her so well.
Right.
But the other ones are so easy because I just make them up as I go. And they serve a purpose in being there. And so it's interesting to see how they all interact with one another and what they become. A lot of times they totally change from the beginning of the story to the end.
Do you know how, when you start a novel, do you know how it's going to end?
I sort of, yes and no. I knew that, I knew where this one was going because I wanted to rewrite my friend's end.
Yes.
And so I kind of knew where it was going to go. But once again, the whole story changed. It took me longer to write this one than it did the others because the story kept changing. I thought at first it was just going to be a storm, and then all of a sudden it's this friend. And so it just sort of morphed into what it is now.
And the book is out. It came out last week on actually June the 8th, Tidewater Tempest.
Yes.
And MZThwaite is the author, so good luck with it. I'm sure.
Thank you so much.
A lot of folks,
appreciate it.
I appreciate you being on North of the Broad, and we'll be right back.